As the federal election campaign unfolds, one would expect Quebec's regions to be buzzing with discussions about Trump's aggressive tariff policies. However, in places like Saguenay, a different crisis is at the forefront, one that affects businesses and workers far more directly than international trade wars. The real concern? A severe labor shortage that threatens to cripple local industries. Political columnist Antoine Robitaille recently visited Saguenay to gauge the electoral atmosphere. He anticipated that tariffs would be the main topic of discussion. After all, Trump's trade policies have been a major talking point in Canada. But instead, the owners of 3 major manufacturing businesses expressed their deepest frustration with something closer to home. New government regulations that make it harder for temporary foreign workers, that is, TFWs, to stay in the country. Martin Ouellet, of STC Manufacturier, Jean-Denis Toupin, of Construction Proco, and Nicolas Pelletier of Coupsog are among the voices raising alarms. They argue that the Canadian and Quebec governments, rather than easing the challenges of running a business, are imposing additional obstacles. With strict immigration policies and increased restrictions on temporary workers, industries that rely on specialized labor, such as welding and steel manufacturing, are losing essential employees. Toupin, whose company specializes in steel structures and bridges, warns that nearly half of his 94 welders, many from Mexico, could soon be forced to leave. They ask us to compete in a global market, but then they take away our workforce, he laments. The sentiment is shared by Ouellet, who points out that the spouses of temporary workers are now barred from working in Quebec, making retention even more difficult. The Bloc Québécois, through candidates Mario Simard, Alexis Brunel-Duceppe and Marc Street-Hilaire, has taken a clear stance on the issue, calling for a 3-year moratorium on the new restrictions. Other parties remain divided. Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre has advocated for a reduction in TFWs, linking immigration thresholds to housing availability. Meanwhile, the federal government's policies appear to treat the entire country as a uniform entity, without considering the specific needs of Quebec's regions. This labor crisis highlights a larger political contradiction. The Quebec government, led by François Legault, has frequently called for a reduction in temporary workers, a position supported by the Parti Québécois. Yet, in industries like manufacturing, these workers are seen as indispensable. Jean-Denis Toupin insists that among the much-debated 600,000 temporary residents in Canada, the 12,000 working in Quebec's manufacturing sector contribute significantly to the economy without burdening public services. The concern extends beyond businesses. If companies cannot find workers, they may have to cut production, delay projects, or even relocate, leading to economic repercussions that could ripple through entire communities. These issues may not grab the headlines the way Trump's tariffs do, but for Quebec's regional businesses, they are a more immediate and pressing challenge. As the election campaign continues, the question remains: will federal leaders address this growing crisis, or will Quebec's regions be left to struggle with policies designed for a different reality? Stay subscribed for more videos.